welcome to Journey of She. This is Tracy. Today I felt inspired and I guess just awoken to talk about productivity. I had done some soul searching over the last few months, being at home with my second child and really just starting to think about what I was defining as productivity. In the beginning, I was just trying to keep myself so busy. You know, people at the end of the day, we sit around the table with my husband and my daughter and they say, you know, what did you do today, Mum? And I felt it necessary to say, you know, I washed the dishes and I did this and I did the washing, and it felt like I was trying really hard to make sure that it sounded that I was busy and I wasn't just looking after my baby or lying in bed. And I sat with this eventually and sort of started thinking, what if we had to redefine what productivity was to us? Possibly productivity to me now could mean progress. It could be self-discovery. It could be realizing that I didn't want to look or feel lazy, to feel that I was productively living and using my time. And how was this productivity and use of time calculated? I came across a phrase by Jung. The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. But first, you must unlearn who they told you to be. And that stirred something within me to think maybe it was time that I could redefine what I believed was success or productivity or what I believed was happiness. I've written a piece which I'm going to read and then, digest. But she did in fact still believe that those attributes, activities, or goals were still in line with who she was becoming. Awareness is the first step, always. To stop and look around in order to reestablish your grounding and to ensure that you are carrying the correct gear and mind space to conquer what lies ahead. We've spoken about cycles in life, and the starting point of self-reflection is at the pinnacle to each new summit. Just as the moon flows through her cycle of darkness and light, we too need to grow small before we can grow large once more. And with each full moon, and there is a full moon coming up this Friday, 1st of May, full moon in Scorpio. And there is a lesson to be learnt before a new challenge is set. Therefore, despite this sort of forever cycle in and out, each beginning is a new layer that may have another level of complexity to it. And it's adapted and prepared to dive you deeper into the unknown. So in that moment of a deep breath, a calm, and a release. There is a release of control and understanding and analyzing everything, and a moment to just be. Be still and present and vulnerable to the lessons that lie ahead. And therefore, productivity can look like a home-cooked meal, a hot bath, having found 5 minutes for meditation. Could productivity be associated with relaxation or rest? Could rest actually be productive? I think so. I really do. In the moments that I find time for myself and I fill up my cup, my family can see it. I get home and my husband is like, "Oh, you're back. Hi." It's amazing that having just found a moment for myself, how much more I'm actually able to give to those I love around me. I guess the answer is in the result or the measurement at the end of the day. So is my hot bubble bath resulting in relaxing my body and allowing me to sleep better? Is my rest or my meditation resulting in giving me more energy for my day? Am I becoming more calm or patient or happy or energetic? Am I able to give more to my family or my friends or my work before or after I've taken the time for myself? And I think by reverse engineering that conversation with yourself, you start to say, okay, actually, these actions in my life that I think or I thought were selfish or selfish, are actually providing me the tools to give more. And maybe I can give myself a little bit of grace. She began to realize that it was the pace at which she was living that could either awaken or devour her. The moment that her daily activities, the noise of the children, the crying, the screaming, the dirty dishes, the muddy floor, the empty fridge, the stench of her body odor, that she realized time and time again that was her breaking point. The version of herself that she despised was this erratic, vicious, quick, sharp, tired woman. And in pulling back, it actually allowed her to be a better version of herself. So when her brain was spiraling and her heart rate was increasing and her panic set in and her demon was released, she needed to figure out how to tame that dragon and how to allow it to live in her and still breathe fire, but only when it needed to. And it wasn't a daily need to bring out this fire-breathing dragon to survive. There is a time and a space for that. Yes, Parker agrees. She needed to convince herself that her body and her life was not in danger, despite the fight or flight reflexes that were in motion 99% of the day. How could she begin to transform her days into calm, harmonious motion, despite the challenges and the chaos that was her life? She would need to dig deep. She would need to flow at the moment, not fight it, not redirect it or try to control it. She needed to breathe into each moment and find the still flow of the life, the organic one that exists in all of us. And my hope in sharing this today is that in this moment, you breathe and you relax your body and you surrender and know that there is something in you that knows that the universe wants you to succeed and it wants you to be happy and abundant. And there is a time to take charge, but there is also a time to surrender and a time to know that what you can give to yourself will allow you to then be able to give others. Put your mask on before your babies, right? I hope that this has settled or sat or inspired any of you on the other side of this podcast. And I thank you for the opportunity to be able to share these conversations. Have a beautiful day. Journey.